Welcome to the session 6 of free vibrations. In this session, we will be discussing about the numerical problems on logarithmic decrement. In the previous classes, we have solved some two numerical problems on logarithmic decrement. In the similar manner, we will solve some more problems. Here is the statement of the problem. The measurement on a mechanical vibrating system shows that the mass of 10 kg and that of the springs can be combined to give an equal spring stiffness of 5 Newton per millimeter. If the vibrating system has a dashpot attached which exerts a force of 40 Newton when the mass have a unit velocity of 1 meter per second, determine critical damping coefficient, damping factor, logarithmic decrement and ratio of any two successive amplitudes. Here the first term that we are supposed to find out is critical damping coefficient. The critical damping coefficient is given here. So we know that Cc is equals to 2m omega n, but since we do not know the value of omega n can be found out as square root of k by m radians per second. Now substituting the value of k and the value of m, we can find out the value of omega n, that is 22.36 radians per second. Now using the value of omega n and the value of mass, we can find out the value of critical damping coefficient, that is Cc, which is nothing but 2 into 10 into 22.36, that is 447.2 Newton second per meter. The second term is damping factor zeta. Here zeta is known that it is the ratio of damping coefficient to critical damping coefficient. So therefore the value of C and Cc are substituted so as to obtain the value of zeta, and it is 0.0894. We all know that it is a dimensionless number. The third is the logarithmic decrement. Logarithmic decrement delta is given as 2 pi zeta divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square. Here the value of zeta is substituted, that is 2 into pi into 0.0894 divided by square root of 1 minus 0.0894 square, so that the value of delta is obtained as 0.564. The next is the ratio of any two successive amplitudes. Here the ratio of successive amplitudes is nothing but it is given as delta is equals to xn divided by x of n plus 1. Here xn divided by xn plus 1 is nothing but e to the power of delta, that is, so e to the power of 0.564, the value of delta, if is substituted, then we get the ratio of successive amplitudes as 1.758. Next we have another problem, that is determine the undamped and damped natural frequencies of the system shown in figure in vertical direction. The mass of the isolators are neglected. In the figure given, we have figure A, wherein there are two isolators, that is the rubber and felt, upon which the mass of 20 kg is placed. The figure is simplified and written in the form as shown in figure B. So here rubber and felt act as a stiffness as well as a damper. So therefore we can write them as shown in figure B. So two springs that are in series and two dampers which are in series. The values of C1 and C2 and K1 and K2 are as shown in the figure. Now the figure B can be further simplified since they are in series. Since the springs are in series and the dampers are in series, their equivalent spring stiffness and their equivalent damping stiffness coefficients can be simplified and obtained as Ke and Ce. We shall see how to solve this problem now. So, since the isolators are in series, the schematic is shown in figure B, and figure C shows the arrangement with the equivalent spring stiffness Ke and damping coefficient Ce. Since for series combination we have the isolators that are in series are 1 by Ke is equals to 1 by Kr plus 1 by Kf, where R and F indicates rubber and felt respectively. This is equals to, so after taking LCM we get Kr plus Kf divided by Kr Kf. So further simplification, we can write that since the isolators are in series and we have the values of Kr and Kf, so substituting the values of Kr and Kf, we get the equivalent spring stiffness as 166.67 Newton per meter. Similarly, the equivalent damping coefficient is obtained in the similar manner, and the damping coefficients of rubber and felt are substituted, so that the equivalent damping coefficient Ce is equals to CrCf divided by CrC plus Cf. So after substitution of Cr, that is 75, and the value of Cf as 300, so 75 into 300 divided by 75 plus 300, we get the damping coefficient as 60 Newton second per meter. Now, undamped natural frequency is given as 1 by 2 pi into omega n hertz. Here, the value of omega n is nothing but K by m. Since we have the equivalent spring stiffness, so therefore 1 by 2m into square root of Ke by m will be used for the calculation. So substituting the value of Ke and m, we obtain undamped natural frequency as 1.453 Hertz. Further, circular frequency omega n is nothing but square root of K by m. So it is obtained by substituting the value of spring stiffness, equivalent spring stiffness, and the mass, so which happens to be 9.13 radians per second. Damping factor is nothing but the ratio of damping coefficient to critical damping coefficient. Again, the damping coefficient here taken is an equivalent damping coefficient, and the value of critical damping coefficient is nothing but 2m omega n. Substituting the values of the known quantities, we obtain the damping factor zeta as 0.1643. Using omega n and zeta value, we can find out the omega d value, which is nothing but omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. It is equals to omega n value is 9.13 under the root 1 minus zeta is 0.1643 square, which is nothing but 9 Hertz. So, using the value of omega d, we can further calculate the damped natural frequency, that is Fn is equals to omega d by 2 pi or 1 by 2 pi into omega d. It is equals to 1 by 2 pi into 9, that is equals to 1.433 Hertz. Moving on to the multiple choice questions. The multiple choice questions are, the first one, in damped free vibrations, which parameters indicate vibrations? Options are natural frequency, rate of decay of amplitude, both A and B, and none of the above. A damped free vibration is indicated based on the rate of decay of amplitude as well as natural frequency. So therefore, the options given, the answer C is the right answer. The second question, multiple choice question is, in which of the following cases overdamping occurs? As we have discussed in our previous sessions, that overdamping occurs when the roots are real and the system will be aperiodic in nature. So therefore, the options given here are roots are real, roots are complex conjugate, roots are equal and independent of the equation. Among the four options given, the option A is the right answer. That is, roots are real. The third question is, fluid resistance causes damping, which is known as A. Resistance damping, B. Fluid damping, C. Viscous damping, D. Liquid damping. In case of piston and cylinder arrangement, if there is a fluid present, then such type of damping is called as viscous damping. So therefore, the effect of fluid inside the cylinder piston arrangement causes a damping called as viscous damping, and hence the option C is the right answer. The fourth one, in damped vibrations, the amplitude of the resulting vibration gradually reduces. This is due to the reason that an amount of energy is always dissipated to overcome the frictional resistance, work done, fluid pressure and air pressure. We know that in damped vibrations, the amplitude of the resulting vibration will be decreased gradually with respect to time. This is because that the function of the damper is to act as a resistance to the motion. So therefore, the option given, that is frictional resistance, it is due to the reason that the amount of energy is dissipated to overcome the frictional resistance. So therefore, option A is the right answer. With this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you.